Thanks very much, Count Corla. And I've listened to the entire debate. I wasn't here physically for it all, but I listened to it all. And a lot of very constructive points were made. I may not agree with them all, but they were in merit. And I suppose before I go through the script, I just want to deal with a number of points you've raised. So, Deputy Batchik and Labour, you brought about on the whole area of HAP and the tenant in situ that's a term that's used by Dublin City Council. In layman's terms, it's for an acquisition of a property where a notice of termination to quit. The local authorities have been given deferred sanction, so they have flexibility to make decisions on the purchase of houses where people have been served with an eviction notice and that they're about to be made homeless or without a place to live. So there's flexibility there, and I've checked. Circulars have been issued. It's something I will follow up with on again. Deputy Howland spoke about the CPOs of vacant homes. So in the Housing for All and in under the action plan, there's a determination to have 2,500 houses done by CPO, processed by way of CPO by the local authorities to provide them on the open market for resale. Now, that particular issue is getting further clarification in the new planning bill that's going through. It's something I feel very strongly about. There will be vacant home officers now in all the local authorities, and furthermore, Minister O'Brien, we gave commitment to people that if local authorities have a business case for additional vacant home officers, make the case to the department. So if a particular town requires it, because we want to bring these vacant homes back into action. The Creek Conaha scheme, just for the towns and villages alone, we're looking at 2,000 houses would come back in. That's a 30,000 grant and a 50,000 maximum grant if the house has been a derelict house. And maybe something that's being missed. The Fair Deal scheme is being changed. People speak often about the Fair Deal scheme and that there are many houses out there not being used for rental purposes. We've changed the Fair Deal scheme where the disregard is now 60% on the rental income rather than 20%. We're hoping that will bring 1,200 properties back. And the short-term letting schemes, that bill that's coming in for the Department of Tourism, we're looking there that would bring maybe 12,000 houses back into use for families, for single people to live in. And we feel that's something can be worked on. Can I just, you made reference to it earlier, can I join you in sympathy on the passing of Niamh Brannock? She was certainly, she brought phenomenal change in the area of education when she was there. Richard Boyd Barrett, Deputy Richard Boyd Barrett rather, he's gone, but I'd like to hear, I don't know the detail of the case for Jackie and her family, but certainly people will be aware. I didn't know when the tenancy was to be terminated. If it was to be terminated between the end of October of last year, 31st of March of this year, they cannot be evicted. I don't know the circumstances. I'd ask that he would bring it to us and that we could follow up on that. Can I take up then Deputy Kenny? Yeah, it is about supply. I accept that point. However, we have a plan. There's a plan out there, Housing for All, and in the last year we have delivered nearly 30,000 homes. And people can say that it's not enough. Yes, we want more homes, but it is a serious start. Furthermore, the point is, and many other opposition parties go on about new social housing bills. We expect that the new social housing bills this past year in 2022, when the figures are finalised, will be the highest in the last half century. And that's something that many parties have made a point about. On the HAP, you make reference on the HAP system coming off. Maybe it's something Deputy Kenny take up. I have tenants that are on HAP. I pursue the local authority to get them to get social housing. They're not differentiated from my perspective at a local level. It's something I'd like to follow up with you. Yes, you've been certainly a champion of looking at ways to streamline our system in terms of public procurement, and I accept that. The simple thing here is, the simplest way to build houses at the moment is to look at the current permissions that are there. There are over 70,000 houses. I'm not saying all of them can be built on, but we have to look. They're the ones that we now fast-tracked. And with the best will in the world, Deputy Kenny, if I'm a private developer and I'm starting out on a greenfield site and I have to get planning on it, it's going to take me a hell of a lot more longer time than I have an existing permission which you can activate. And that's a space that we in government are very much looking to go into. The issue, I don't accept that we lack empathy. Deputy Pringle made reference to it. Yeah, we recognise the problem. That's why we've a Housing for All plan. That's why we're bringing in these various measures. We will take back these, but I think the record needs to be put straight that we are bringing in a range of proposals. It's not going to be, and you made reference, Deputy Murphy, on a one-size-doesn't-fit-all. We are looking at the densities. We are taking on those points. It's something I feel very strongly about, that one size doesn't fit all. It's something, so we have the Planning Act coming through. We will now look at the type of, to look at densities. What works? What will be built? Yes, we need apartments, but we need a range, and I accept that. So I just want to, I suppose, go through in terms of the issues. So in terms of the vacant home action plan, we're looking to bring, as I said, vacant and derelict residential and commercial properties back into use. Labour Party made reference to the fact of isolating the number of properties that are vacant. We're doing a data collection project. It's something I'm going to pursue myself with the local authorities. We need to get action on the ground to compile all the vacant properties and how we can use them. We've given 150 million for the Urban Regeneration Fund this time, specifically to bring vacant houses back into use, vacant units. It's not about the public realm. Previously it was. This is specifically for that. And I would encourage you to talk to your local authorities. This is local authorities coming forward with plans. This will be based on their range of population, and it's about all the local authorities getting there. And I think it should be acknowledged as well. And people will say, 7,500 first-time buyer mortgage drawdown in Q4 of 2002. It was a 12.5% of Q3. And yes, there are landlords leaving the market. We accept that. But in many cases, those properties are being bought by first-time buyers. So the question for us then is, how do we deal with that? The cost rental scheme is a scheme I feel very strongly about. It's rents below 25%, and Deputy Barrett made reference to Jackie and her family. It certainly would fit into that perspective. And I think as well, you cannot, with the demands on tradesmen and everything, to double output overnight, we must be realistic. We must do it in a way that we have the manpower. We've gone to 30,000 this year. Last year, we'll look to increase that figure this year. We will, and I know you made reference, Deputy Nash, about the CSO figures. But once again, we are doing the work. We have to operate on final figures. And we have to, and that's something that will be done pretty shortly, because the figures will be finalised pretty shortly. We have seen, I suppose, in a positive way, in Q3 of last year, 171,000 people in the labour workforce in construction. That was a 17% increase in last year's 25,000. So the numbers are going up. We are ratcheting the limit. Can I just make reference to one of the acts that the Labour Party made reference to, the Acquisition of Development Land Assessment Compensation Bill? We'd ask you to look at the bill that we're bringing in through on the land sharing and the land value sharing proposals. Ours is basically a plan-led system. We feel that basically looking at what you're bringing forward, it will be very much around a transaction. We want to, the state would look at the uplift in the value. So we'd ask you to very much look at the details of that bill. You spoke about the RTB, and it's a matter I followed up on. So people at the moment can claim the tax credit without putting in the RTB number. And that's something, so people can do that, but it's something we are following up further with the RTB on, and with the Department of Finance in respect to the scheme. And then finally, we are putting rental inspectors into the local authorities at 10 million. And really, I suppose, no one has, I suppose, a monopoly on wisdom on housing. We all have to work together to find the best solution. We have a plan, and it is working, and we'd ask that I look forward to further debates. So thank you.
We know.